Welcome back to Mascara and Magazine. So today we're going to talk about an IFAK. This is something that not everyone thinks about. Depending on your wants, needs, thought processes, medical knowledge, environment, this is going to be a little different for everyone, and that's okay. So for me, I do have a background of medical. I have EMT training and a little bit of nursing stuff, and then you get into the whole tactical, world, and there's more to that. So this is just a Kavu bag. This is my purse. This is what I carry every day. Not a big deal. So why do I carry this? I specifically wanted this because there's two independent pockets. My husband wasn't a fan of this strap. It seemed like a safety concern to him because, let's see, it goes this way. I like it because I'm completely hands-free and I can, grocery shop, deal with the kids, whatever I need to do, but it's here. He didn't like the safety concern, but the reason that I carry this is there is a quick release here. So his concern was, if someone comes up behind you and I can't get out of this. So this assures that I can get out of it. Make sure that's clicked in. So it holds a ton, okay? But I have all my personal stuff in one side, your wallet and, just whatever. As a mom, I'm sure there's candy wrappers and extra pens and who knows what in there. But in this smaller second pocket is my IFAK. So what is that? That is your individual first aid kit. Ideally, this is what you carry when you need medical attention. This is for you. This isn't a complete blowout bag for, a car wreck or mass shooting or anything like that. We have something separate for that. We'll get to that. This is what I carry for me or, my husband, my kids. This is a quick access. If something happens, I have things. Everyone's training, knowledge, opinion, experience is going to change some of this. But there's just certain things that I carry. I have multiple stethoscopes, so I do keep one in here. I want to be able to, be able to check those breath sounds and pulses, distal pulses, things like that when needed. A lot of the times you can just palpate those, but not always. So, let's see. Always, this really gets used as tweezers more than anything. So you just never know whether it's, trying to pull a splinter out of, your kid's leg or the mulch on the playground gets impaled, whatever. This fine point is easy. Everything is multi-purpose, right? So whether you can put, your gauze over it and you can pack a wound very gently or anything, multi-purpose, but I always keep those trauma shears. Some of these are more disposable. You're not going to get, 1,000 cuts out of these. So you need to keep an eye on how sharp those are, how long you've had them. This is just a Vaseline gauze strip. So this can be used as a hyphen seal, like a chest seal. And, even if you've already used, if you have to open this is sealed. But if you use the gauze inside, you can still use the aluminum for something too. So remember, you have to think outside the box with stuff like this. Tons of gauze. This is just compressed gauze. This is 4.5 by 4.1 yards stretch. So it is pretty thick, but being compressed like this, it's all just, super sealed, compacted, easy to use. I've got a small suture kit in here. I've got 2 suture kits in here. This is a wound seal kit is how this is labeled. The cool thing about this is a lot of your packages like this, and this is, just medical supply, military surplus. A lot of places have different things like this. You've got easy access right here to tear this and break that seal. But right now it is completely sealed. And then you've got instructions right here. So even if you know how to use it, but then you're in that panic mode, it's gonna tell you, pull it from the pouch, clean the area, apply it to the wound, smooth and apply pressure to wound seal for complete sealing for the injury site. So this is penetrating and exit wounds. This is that hyphen chest seal is what most of us know this as. This is that like through and through. And so my first thought that I carry this for is gunshot wounds. Whether it's for me, my husband, anything, then I can do this. Our state has Good Samaritan laws, so you need to know those for your state as well. More gauze, because you just really can't have too much gauze. These are just some small pads that I've picked up from Walgreens. These are just 4x4s. You can get these and they're small, so they're gonna stay, and you can fold these. It's not gonna hurt them, and you can pack more in there. There's another one, 4x4. You have to keep an eye on it because some of these things, like these, can come open depending on how they're stored. They're not like super sealed around the edges, so just be careful. Watch that. Duct tape is going to help hold the gauze on. It's going to hurt to rip it off, but if there's a lot of blood, if you're in the rain, there's the environment you're in, then sometimes medical tape doesn't hold. Duct tape is going to hold. If you have to make a small splint, you can duct tape that thing on there and it's going to stay. So sometimes, like I said, you have to think outside the box. I've got a couple just cheap rubber bands in here for rubber tourniquets. I've had the argument of the cat, the rat, the rubber, all that stuff. And listen, when you're just thinking on the fly, trying to stop the bleeding, medical attention's coming, keep this on there. I've got another one of those. I do have a small roll of medical tape. I normally have a Sharpie in here, so I'm kind of not really sure where that's at. So why do I keep a Sharpie? If you have to put a tourniquet on, you really need to check the time and write that on there. Write it on the person's skin where it's visible to EMS, okay? These are just some simple things. And then I've got combat gauze here. This is Quick Clot for those open wounds. This is the vacuum pack Z folded for temporary external use to control traumatic bleeding. If you can get it stopped with this, it's not real deep, because this stuff's expensive, okay? Use gauze. And then you have, pressure, elevate, all that stuff. But for those, you need this to stop. This is bad bleeding. We're gonna go into shock, things like that. Then that's what this is. They have a couple different kinds of these, but this is the gauze. So it's gonna have to be packed in there and held. And then you can wrap, this gauze around it to hold it, keep it closed, put that duct tape on there, and it's gonna stay. So some of them are gauze, some of them are just granules. Just the granules where you just pour them in there and they swell up, fill that, stop the clotting, or stop the bleeding and make clots. That actually has to be like debrided out. And that's not very pleasant. So I try to not make the situation worse. So this is just some of the stuff that I use. There's more that could be added to this, and I get that. I am not saying this is an all-inclusive list by any means, but if you are carrying and you are prepared for, you've got your training, you are prepared for if bad things happen, things go down, then that's great. Have the backup ammo, all that stuff, but also want you to think about what happens if you need medical attention. What happens if, someone close to you needs medical attention? Where is it? Do you have those things, and how fast, how easily are they accessed? It's the same thing as your firearm. If you can't get to it, doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter all the cool gadgets and experience and knowledge you have if you can't get to your stuff. So this is different than what's in my car. The bag in my car is a different setup for this. This is just those quick bleeding, stop something now. This is always close access, rip it open and it's there. So like I said, depending on your environment, situation, your thought process, what you are preparing for, this is just that super emergent, right now, stop the bleeding, try to prevent the shock. Put a Mylar blanket in here. Those are normally real small. Shock, I need to put my Sharpie back in here for the times for those tourniquets. Anything like that is gonna help, okay? You would rather have something than nothing at all. Yes, we can improvise, and you can use your belt as a tourniquet. You can use a blood pressure cuff. You can, do all these different things, but sometimes it's just easier to have the medical equipment. So a lot of this stuff is found at Walgreens: gauze, medical tape, duct tape, Sharpies, you can just find those. Medical surplus stores, your Army surplus type stores are probably going to have this. That's where I got a lot of this. The guy that I had, the brick and mortar store, isn't open anymore. So just because of the environment and, you know, things not selling, supply chain issues. So make sure this is stocked. One question that I sometimes get. So on this, you'll see there's an expiration date. This is gauze. Not really concerned about the expiration date. It is still sealed. This has never been opened. It's still got the vacuum on it, so nothing's been punctured. I would rather have expired gauze and have to use 2 than no gauze at all and bleed out. Okay, so let's just think about that. Take some first aid classes. Just get that knowledge. Take a stop the bleed class. You know, a lot of our guys that we know in the firearms world do those classes, or they know someone that does it they can recommend. So I know like Warrior Poet has done a video with a guy, a medic, combat medic, that was, he does stop the bleed classes. Look into stuff like that. Yes, we focus on elevating our firearms training and our times and our skill sets and getting faster and target acquisition and all that, and that's great. We need that. But I would definitely recommend increasing your medical knowledge too, even just simple things, when to apply a tourniquet, where to apply a tourniquet. You know, you don't put the tourniquet, you know, right on the wound. It's 2 inches above or below, things like that. So just basic skills like that. I'm not saying everyone needs to go get, you know, spend 9 months and get an EMT course, but basic first aid, basic trauma, stop the bleed. That's really what we need. So until next time, continue training, continue increasing your knowledge base, and stay safe, and I will see you guys later.